Hey, Bolts family. What to say? And now we suck again. So that's the title. And now we suck again. I don't think suck. Some people say suck is a bad word. I don't think it's a bad word. Get your mind out of the gutter. What a roller coaster it is to be a Charger fan, right? It's like it doesn't matter who the coach is. We just keep getting this nonsense. Like one week we play Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden we look great. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Look at every level. Even though they can't block, even though Herbert got hit so many times, he got his ankle taped. He's still but we're still able to do it, and like, we can really beat anybody now. And all the commentators, those idiots, they're idiots. Let's face it. Like Nick Wright, he's an idiot. This guy, Ryan, what his name is? Well, I don't know. ESPN, they're idiots. Here's why they're idiots. Because not just him. That Nick Wright guy, he doesn't like Herbert. He's a big Kansas City Chiefs fan. No matter what Herbert says, until Herbert wins the Super Bowl, he's a piece of crap. It doesn't matter what he does, and the guy's an idiot. But here's why I say this, because a week ago when they beat the Steelers, all these talking head sports guys, they're all, "Wow, Chargers! I told you, Phil Rivers was great. I told you he's awesome. Isn't he good? I told you. Look how good he is. Oh man, they're gonna even Rich Eisen and all these guys, and you know, a bunch of guys. I can't name them all. And I'm not saying Rich Eisen. He's okay. He's okay. I watch him sometimes. I just watch Chargers stuff. But it's like, oh, I told you they can beat anybody. Look at him, Herbert's the best MVP candidate. And that's like, so I told you he was a fallacy. So one guy used the word fallacy. He's a fantasy. He's not real. I told you he's no good. It's like it's just one game. Same thing with Pittsburgh. I mean, I have a friend who's a Steeler fan, and so we beat Pittsburgh, make them look terrible. Like, oh, these guys are done. They're never. And then the next week, on Sunday, they look pretty dang good. They beat the head stuffing out of somebody. Same thing with Jacksonville. Jacksonville, they beat the Raiders by 1 point, and they really were lucky to win that game. They've been a terrible team, and they've been a good team. They also beat the Broncos. They beat us, and they just beat the snot out of us. Well, one thing you got to say about Harbaugh is that he can be, what's the word? It's really hard to listen to him when they lose, because although he didn't really make excuses this time, but he never calls them out. But that's not his style. You want to hear the Mike Tomlin style. You want to hear the, what was that guy's name? Playoffs. We talk about playoffs. Let's win a game. And it was the other guy, Danny Green or whatever. When he says, "You want to know who they are? They are who we said they are." These guys, they just lose it in the press conference. Ditka was real good about that, and just we suck. you know So I'm not gonna. So who are we gonna blame about all this? Who are we gonna blame? Well, Greg Roman is on the hot seat. He's our offensive coordinator, and people are saying, Why didn't you do this, this, and this?" Now listen, I am not an offensive coordinator. I am not a expert. I am not. I don't even. Everything I know, I get from watching these talking heads, my talking heads, my Charger guys. The director, guilty as charged. Anyway, I got a handful. There's a couple others. There's about four or five podcasts that I watch all the time, and some of them, that guilty as charged, they got some really good information on there, and I learn a lot about football, about Chargers. But I will say, Greg Roman looks to be really bad, and our O line is worst. They're still the worst, and Bozeman is terrible. He's the worst center. So we have, like, I think overall we're graded at 31 or 30th. Not the very worst, but some of our guys are the worst. He's the worst. So our O line's terrible, but we can't do anything. We couldn't do anything this week. We were terrible. Every facet of the game we were terrible. Kickoff return, stopping the kickoff return, defense. What happened to our defense? Oh, I told you the defense is real. There goes Jesse Minter. We told you, and then all of a sudden they just. I'm not going to go into details of why that happened. I don't know why it happened. I'll say this though: when you talk about like guys like Greg Roman, O line, we have two tackles that are excellent that are injured. When they come back next year, we just need three more. They'll probably keep Zion. Zion is actually one of our guards, and he's actually the best of the rest. So he's serviceable. The rest of the guys, Makai Becton, Bozeman, hit the showers, boys. So next year, so here's the thing: when you're a Charger fan, the two things happened for me because I've been a Charger fan for so many years, and I've seen some good years and I've seen some bad years. Probably more bad years than good years. So when things start going bad, here's two things you do. You always say same thing with the Padres. Wait till next year. And the other thing I always do is I always have other teams that I pull for. Why? Because I got to do something when we get to the Super Bowl, right? Or that I pull against. So I pull against the Broncos. I pull against the Raiders. I pull against the Kansas City Chiefs. I used to pull against the Patriots. There's maybe some others I'm not thinking about. So I have other teams that I will pull for. And I've always been a Josh Allen fan. So I have a backup team in my hip pocket, the Buffalo Bills, unless we play them in the playoffs. So what about the playoffs? Let's talk about this for a minute. So where are we going to go? Everybody's done. They should, I've seen so many things. Even most of the guys. I don't think we're going to make playoffs. I don't see how we can win because we're a 7-4, so we need to win three more games, 3 out of 6. And everybody say, I don't see we can do it. We can't do it. Not the way they played. Well, of course, if they play the way they played on Sunday, we won't win it. We'd be lucky to beat the Raiders, right? But they're not going to play that way. So, and here's one more thing I want to say before I move on to moving on. Um, Hang on, I forgot what it was. Hang on, get that mind melt. I know what it was. I wanted to talk about every time they go to the East Coast and play an early morning game for them. They're terrible. They're just terrible every single time. Every game, Miami, the Giants. Now this Jaguars. Why did it have to be the Jaguars too, right? Gosh, this guy owns this, man. Anyway, the two coaches over there, the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator. He's the one for Tampa Bay last year that just beat the snot out of us. But every time we go there, we look like a totally different team, and I don't know how that works. Why don't they just practice at 9 o'clock in the morning and get used to it? Why don't they go there? How about this? Every time you have an East Coast game, go there 5 days early and just rent a facility and just practice and get used to the time change. I don't know. You got to do something different. So that's what I want to say about that. For some reason, it's the curse. And guess what happens if we don't win our division, which we still could, but if we don't win our division, we're probably going to go back east and play one of those morning games. So are we going to be one and done? I'd almost rather not make the playoffs if we're just going to lose because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear how Justin Herbert sucks because he has never won a playoff game. Well, let me tell you something. Peyton Manning didn't win a playoff game till I forgot 5th year or some 6 years, some whatever it was. He lost like 4 playoff games and then he started winning Super Bowls. So whatever. So moving forward, how are we going to win these games? Well, I don't know. We got that guy Penning. He didn't look very good, but it really was his first. I don't know if we could possibly do something. We have Marion Hampton coming back. Is he going to save everything? No, he's not going to save everything. But if we could find a way, I'm pretty sure we'll beat the Raiders. So we just need to be in 2 more games, right? And they're not easy games. The easiest game out of all the remaining games, besides the Raiders, is we have to play the Cowboys. And the Cowboys have a really good offense, not much of a defense. But we've been shredded by teams who don't have very good defense. That's the other thing I want to say about this game. Pittsburgh Steelers have a much better defense than Jacksonville. You go figure. I can't figure the NFL. So are we going to win 3 more games and get in the playoffs? I think so. I don't know for a fact. I hope so. I hate to be the guy hoping now, but we play the Raiders after the bye. We have a week off and time for them to get something, pull something out of their hat. And you know what? They can. It's happened before. You can't judge a season on one game. You can't judge a season by how great we were against Pittsburgh or how bad we were against Jacksonville. People do it. That's what they do for a living. And they talk trash, so I don't listen to the trash. I just move on. So what am I doing, guys? I'm still charging. Da 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 da! Charge! Let's go. Next week, I'm going to just post something about the Chargers history or so. God bless you guys. Ta ta for now.